Thank you. Good evening. I'm flattered to have been asked to participate here this evening. This is a really remarkable event, and it's really remarkable seeing the amount of people that are here tonight participating in this. We're talking a lot about the future, but in many ways when it comes to arts and culture, one of the biggest challenges that we have is we have a propensity to be modest, and we don't brag enough about the successes that we've already done. So I just want to take a moment and touch on a couple of those things. We have an Imperial Theatre here in St. John, which is one of the finest facilities in Atlantic Canada, which has recently just gone through a $3 million upgrade of its facilities. This is work that's ongoing. The St. John Theatre Company is the largest theatre organization now in the province of New Brunswick, doing work that is on par with any work going on in the Maritimes, and we just developed and are in the finishing stages of a $2 million production and training facility, which is the best of its kind in New Brunswick and one of the top 5 facilities of its kind in Atlantic Canada. We have an opera company that's one of the few organizations in Atlantic Canada that can create and produce full-scale professional operas. We have Symphony New Brunswick, a great organization. Harbour Station, a fantastic venue. The St. John Arts Centre, a fantastic venue. Numerous galleries, artists, visual artists, writers, you name it, we have it. So where do we go from here? We have all that. And I think there are 3 things we need to be looking at out of this process. Infrastructure, buying local, essentially, and promoting the heck out of what we do. We already have some great infrastructure, but that infrastructure will continue to require upgrading and development. I think we will find opportunities to develop new infrastructure. People are already floating trial balloons about the idea of turning the synagogue into maybe a 300 to 400 seat performance venue. That may not be the building, but we need a venue like that. We need more outside venues, festival venues, places for public music, places for public art. The venues that we do have over the next 10 to 15 years will require more upgrading and development. Even our own Trade and Convention Center next door, as we face increasing competition from Moncton and Fredericton with their Trade and Convention Centers, we need to look at upgrading this one, and I believe there are some wonderful plans in place for that. That is a cultural venue. You may think of it as a convention center. I think of it as a place where concerts happen. I think of it as a place where corporate clients hire bands, artists, entertainers to assist them in their events. These are all part of the infrastructure that we're looking at, which leads into buying local. We have here representatives tonight of a number of organizations: Uptown St. John, Enterprise St. John, St. John Board of Trade. You are the network that the cultural community relies on to create the opportunities for us to grow, for us to develop new works, share them with audiences, bringing audiences to St. John to participate in those works through mechanisms like destination marketing, through the Cultural Affairs Office. These are all things that need to be strengthened and enhanced in the coming years. And ultimately, the end goal of all that is to help us promote the heck out of what we do. We have, as I said, a propensity to be modest, and I think we need to dispense with that. It's one of the wonderful things about St. John, is that we don't tend to stand up in the middle of the room and brag so much about what we do. But culturally, we're facing a lot of competition in the coming years. We have a federal government that's telling us to face some cutbacks in the years to come. We have a province that's having some difficulties. And if you look at examples of what's happened in British Columbia, where they're going through a process right now of cutting 92% of their cultural funding, we know that provinces look at each other and steal ideas from each other. So we need a community leadership in place and an infrastructure in place that's going to help us lobby our province, lobby our federal representatives to make sure that they don't forget about us, that we don't modest ourselves into losing out on opportunities that we should have. If we can get all that done over the next few years, I think we'll go a long way to building on the successes that we've already created, and go a long way to having a cultural community that will form an integral part of the fabric of this community. Thank you very much.